You're listening to the Natalie Parker Studio Podcast, episode number 7. In today's episode, we're discussing why it's never too late to pursue your creative dream. If you feel like you've missed the boat and your dreams have sailed away, then you'll want to listen in for this encouraging discussion. Welcome to the Natalie Parker Studio Podcast, the podcast for women artists who are ready to pursue their creative dreams so that they can thrive both in life and in business. I'm your host, Natalie Parker, artist and mentor to women creatives around the globe. In this podcast, I'll share with you the strategies, principles, and mindset that you need to build a purposeful and fulfilling creative business. If you're ready to be inspired, encouraged, and equipped to build the art business of your dreams, then you're absolutely in the right place. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey there, artist, and welcome to today's episode. One of the biggest myths I hear from a lot of women who want to start developing their creativity is that they feel like they're too late. Like somehow they have missed the boat and it's no longer realistic or possible for them to pursue their creative dreams. And you know what? I get it. Our society programs us to believe we need to do certain things in certain order at certain times in our lives, and if we don't, then that means it's no longer possible for us. I mean, just think about it for a moment. We're expected to go to school, go into university, get a good job, get married, buy the house, have the family, work for 40 years and retire. Anyone who chooses to sort of veer off that track or do things in different order, there's still this stigma that is looked upon. Now, I felt this a lot in my life. I did my things a little bit out of order and at a later time in my life. I bought my own home as a single woman in my late 20s. I married in my 30s, while my mum married at the age of just 19. My husband and I, we didn't even start trying for a family until I was 35. And now as I approach my 40s, I'm being referred to as a geriatric mother. Like, what the heck? There's this constant pressure on me to have a child now, otherwise I'm going to miss the boat, despite the fact that there are many women who have children now, healthy children, in their 40s. This drives me mad, and as I reflect on this, I'm thinking about how this can help and the pressure that my creatives must be feeling right now as well. Because why as women, look, let's sort of open this. Why do we connect our age to what is possible for us? Has our biological clock somehow been connected to every other aspect of our lives? If so, this is complete BS. And I'm here to tell you today that it's time to disassociate your age, your circumstance, your education, your upbringing to what is possible for you. For if you don't go after your creative dreams, here's what can happen. Number one, you'll miss out on doing what you love and being fulfilled. Now, I know as creatives, it floats our boat, right? It lights us up when we're in our studios, we're creating, we're better people, we're better wives, we're better mums, we show up happier and healthier. If we push that to the side, we're going to live a less than enjoyable life. Number two, the world misses out on enjoying the beauty of your gift. Now, your gift is not simply for you. That talent, that ability you have to create beautiful work, that brings joy into other people's homes. If you don't pursue that, it's not only you that misses out, it's the people who are supposed to see your beautiful work. And number three, you'll carry around the what if for the rest of your lives. And I know that you don't want to be doing that. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't. I don't want to live my life with regrets. I don't want to not have the life I know I'm supposed to live simply because I accept the false myth that it's too late. So here's a thought. What if you no longer looked at your time, the time you're in, the season of life you're in, or your age and simply looked at your dreams and desires and decided to go after them. Because here's the thing, that desire that you have for more, for that dream of yours, that's put inside you for a reason. You're here for a purpose, and until you start to take action on that dream, it's going to continue to stir you and unsettle you. It's actually supposed to. Have you ever tried to push your creativity down and set it aside? Have you ever packed away your paintbrushes and decided, that's it, I'm giving up on art, I don't have the time or the talent, I didn't go to art school, I don't know what I'm doing, I should just give up? If you've done that, how's it working out for you? Does it sadden you? Because it saddens me. And that is the fact why I do what I do. Okay, this is why I'm on this podcast. This is why I mentor artists inside my communities and my courses. Because I know that you need the support. I know you need someone to tell you that it's possible for you, that it's not too late, and that you have not missed the boat. The fact that you are still alive and breathing means you have time. The only time it's too late is when you've passed. You were born for a purpose, and you have a creative desire for a reason. Now, it's going to continue to stir in you, to unsettle you, until you take action on it. Now, as an example, I myself have tried in the past to put my creative dreams to the side and to squash my creativity. When I came out of art school, I'd done my BFA, myself and a couple of other students, we set up our own studio. We called it the Safety Pin Art Studio of all things. Now, we were young, we were, I think we was 21, we were bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, going in, guns blazing, set up the studio, and it was a huge space, right? But it was also incredibly cold, and we lived in a very cold town in Wanganui, of all places, in New Zealand. And so the two other ladies that were in the studio with me, they started to work at home quite a lot because it was more comfortable. And then they pulled out of the lease. Now, I had gone and put that lease in my name, so I was then financially responsible for that lease. Now, I did manage to get out of it, which was fantastic. However, my confidence was incredibly crushed. We'd come out, we thought we could just start this art career, start the studio, and everything was going to work really, really well. So what I did is I put my creativity to the side. I worked in hospitality for about 5-6 years. I worked as a personal assistant for a chiropractor, and I did not paint or draw. Now, one day in about, I think it was 2008, I was about 26 at the time. I came home from my PA job. Outside my apartment was a beautiful magnolia tree. Now, I saw that magnolia and I was like, that is so beautiful. I want to draw it. Now, keeping in mind, I tried to push this down, but it was always there. I'd been to art school. I knew I should be pursuing my creativity. I knew I wanted to be a full-time artist, but here I was working in an office as a personal assistant. So what I did secretly was I started to draw this magnolia late at night. Like, I closed my curtains. I was living in a flat with a family upstairs. I didn't want anyone to see what I was doing. I started to draw, then I started to paint, and then very secretly my confidence grew and I started to share that work with a few family and a few friends. I sold the odd piece for like $20 or something very cheap. I was still building up my confidence. And the creativity just absolutely flooded back. All right, I felt happier. I was more fulfilled. 6 months after doing that, I decided, right, I'm going back to school. I'm going to go do my teaching degree. And then I have painted since 2009. The floodgates opened. So I know what it's like to try and find enjoyment in jobs that aren't really what you want to be doing. Okay, so Here's a couple of examples as well of some fantastic artists that I've found for you who are really inspirational, who have not let their age, who have not let their circumstance hold them back from pursuing their creative dream. So the first one is Minnie Peary. Now, Minnie was a well-known Aboriginal artist who picked up her paintbrush in her late 70s. I mean, rock on. She drew her inspiration from the traditional body painting motifs of the Aborigines, but she kind of put her own gestural flourish and colourful palette to it as well. Now, in her brief career, she became one of Australia's most celebrated Indigenous artists. Her paintings are now held in museums and exhibited in galleries worldwide, and they form an essential part of any serious Aboriginal art person's collection. She died in her 90s, still painting till the very end, and is truly one of the greatest Aboriginal artists. Then there's Jennifer Hayden. Now, she discovered she loved graphic novels at the age of 43, around about the same time that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She previously had written fiction for many years, and she illustrated children's books, but she decided she wanted to make a pivot and work on comics. In 2015, she published her first graphic novel. It was a 352-page memoir about her life and her experience with breast cancer. Now, the novel, appropriately titled The Story of My Tits, was named one of the best graphic novels of the year by the New York Times, by NPR, by Forbes, and by the Library Journal. A novel that took her over 8 years to complete. And then there's Carmen Rivera. Now, Carmen Rivera is still alive at a ripe old age, which I will share with you at the moment. She sold her first painting at the age of 89 after 6 decades of quiet work where she created geometric abstracts. Her work is now added to permanent collections at the MoMA and the Tate Modern, and she is no longer overlooked. Now, Carmen was born in 1915. She did take lessons as an art child, but she chose to pursue a career in architecture instead of an art degree. And I know, having talked to many artists, how this is a biggie. They tell me, Nat, I loved art, I loved it at school, I wanted to pursue it, but I didn't think it was possible, or my family didn't support me, so I went a different way. So if that is you, there's always a chance to pivot and come back to it. Now, Carmen, she married, she moved to New York and then to Paris after World War II. And it was at that time that she began to paint in her earnest. Then she moved back to New York and she continued to paint, and she further developed her styles and refined it. So basically, she was just painting with essential shapes and colors. Then she had her work included in several shows over the years, but she still sold nothing. In 2004, after her husband passed, a friend brought her work to the attention of an art dealer. Soon after, she experienced her first artistic acclaim and financial rewards. And now Carmen is now 106 years old and still working through her concepts and ideas and being assisted by her painting assistant in her studio. Like, how amazing is that? So, whenever I'm needing some inspiration to keep pursuing my creative dream, I always like to read biographies. So if you're looking for a fab book, I love to read and I love to share my recommendations. I highly recommend Lisa Condon's A Glorious Freedom, and that is where I've taken some of these examples from. So I'll post a little link to that in the show notes below. And if you're ready to pursue your creative dream, whether it's to build your business or whether it's to refine your painting skills, I have a fabulous painting community to support you. The Confident Brush is where I teach you the painting techniques you need to build up those skills so that you can find your style, so that you can then go on to start selling your work. Now, we've got women artists in the community from all around the globe. It's incredibly supportive and it's full of women who are pursuing their dreams, regardless of their age or circumstance. And I'll pop a little link for that for you as well in the show notes below. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. If you've found this episode has encouraged you, I'd love if you'd take a screenshot of the episode, post it on IG and tag me in at Natalie Parker Studio and let me know that you've been inspired. Coming up next week on the show, I'm going to be sharing with you 4 things I wish I'd done sooner in my art business. It's a goodie, so make sure to tune in. Until then, keep pursuing your creative dream. Do you dream of having your own art business? Is 2022 going to be the year that you step out, go after your desires, and start to build the art biz you've been dreaming about for years? If you are, but you also have no idea how or where to start, then you're gonna love this. On Jan the 20th, I'm kicking off a free training series for artists called the Art Biz Startup Series. In this 3-part training, you'll get clear about what you want for your business, you'll learn multiple ways to make money, and you'll learn my simple 3-step sales system that you can use over and over again to finally get those art sales coming in. So if you're ready to finally do what you love, to be fulfilled in your days, and to have the extra income for you and your family, then you're going to want to register for this free training today. Click the link to register in the show notes below. I can't wait to help you turn your art biz dream into a reality this year.